Have you ever noticed that some of the most admired people in history were also some of the loneliest? Maria Callas is one of those people. Today, she's remembered as one of the greatest opera singers who ever lived, just like Pavarotti. She had fame, beauty, wealth, and worldwide recognition. But behind the legend was a woman who spent much of her life searching for love, acceptance, and peace. Maria Callas was born in New York City in 1923 to Greek immigrant parents. Her childhood was difficult from the beginning. Her parents' marriage was troubled, and Maria often felt criticized and overlooked. She later spoke about feeling unwanted and compared unfavorably to her older sister. When her parents separated, her mother took Maria and her sister back to Greece. It was there that music changed everything. As a young girl, Maria discovered that her voice was extraordinary. Singing became more than a talent, it became a refuge. In a world where she often felt unseen, her voice gave her purpose, confidence, and identity. Even during the hardships of World War II, she continued her training. While much of the world around her was falling apart, Maria was building the foundation for what would become one of the most remarkable careers in music history. By her 20s, she was performing some of opera's most demanding roles. Audiences weren't just captivated by her voice, they were captivated by her ability to become the character she portrayed. She wasn't simply singing, she was telling stories through every note. As her fame grew, so did public fascination with her personal life. In 1949, Maria married Italian businessman Giovanni Battista Menenghini. I'm sorry, I'm going to butcher that last name, Menenghini, who became both her husband and a major supporter of her career. He believed in her talent and helped guide her to rise to international stardom. It was another man who would ultimately define much of her public story. Aristotle Onassis, one of the wealthiest men in the world at the time, entered her life and swept her into a passionate and highly publicized romance. Maria believed she had found the great love she had always been searching for. But the relationship was complicated, intense, and often painful. As Maria's relationship with Onassis deepened, she reportedly became pregnant. According to several biographies and accounts written after her death, the pregnancy did not result in a child. Some sources claim she underwent an abortion at Onassis's urging, while others question parts of the story. What is clear is that Maria never became a mother. Whether through circumstance, career, demands, personal decisions, relationship dynamics, or some combination of all four, motherhood was not part of the life she ultimately lived. And then came one of the most heartbreaking moments of her life. After years together, Onassis married Jacqueline Kennedy. The woman he chose wasn't Maria. The heartbreak was devastating. Professionally, Maria remained a legend, but personally, she seemed increasingly isolated. At the same time, her voice began to decline. Performance cancellations became more frequent. The intense pressure of perfectionism, fame, public scrutiny, and personal disappointment appeared to take a heavy toll. In her later years, Maria lived much more privately in Paris. Many biographers describe periods of depression, profound loneliness, emotional instability, and withdrawal from public life. For someone who had spent decades performing before thousands of people, her final years became increasingly solitary. Maria Callas died in Paris in 1977 at just the age of 53 years old. What makes her story so fascinating isn't simply that she was talented, it's that she achieved nearly everything society tells us to want: fame, success, beauty, admiration, influence. And yet her life raises a difficult question. What happens when you get everything you were told would make you happy and you're still searching for something more? Maybe that's why Maria Callas continues to resonate today. Not because she was perfect, but because beneath the legend was a very human woman trying to find belonging in a world that admired her voice far more easily than it understood her. Maria Callas didn't fail because she broke the rules. Her story reminds us that even when you follow them or rise above them, There are some longings that fame, success, and admiration can never fully satisfy. I would argue that this story also shows why a lot of women are now remaining single, because she was involved with a man essentially having an affair, because I believe Onassis was married even before he met Calais, and Maria was married as well. So they were both, being a little naughty, but human. So, but I would argue this is why a lot of women are staying single. There's men out there who take advantage of sensitive, kind, longingful women. And women have recognized this because I would argue that we've just grown a little more emotionally stable than men over the past 5 or so years. And men are in a difficult position themselves. I'm not putting men down at all. It's all a whole circle. However, we're recognizing all these red flags a lot sooner and a lot faster. And because of the world that we live in now, where it's more stable for us, where we have the ability to have banks, to vote, independence, vehicles, we can drive all this. So we don't need a man in order to get through the world. Not to say we don't want one and that we don't love them or desire them or anything like that. I just think more and more women are becoming conscious of difficult relationships and choosing not to be in them to simply not be alone. Because I've been in a lot of relationships where I'm alone, even when I'm with someone. So I'd rather be on my own and not have the burden and the sadness and the disappointment of being with somebody who can't even see me. So it's just an unfortunate part of her story, but obviously it added more value or resonance to her art. And obviously she made a huge impact on the world with her voice. So I just wanted to discuss it. I'd love to hear your discussion on it, your point of view on it. Please share it in the comments below.